All right, welcome back, y'all. Episode 2. We're back with a whole lot of love. How you feeling today?
I feel good.
Feel good?
Excited about week 2.
Yeah. We got a
Last
lot
week
of good
was
feedback. Yeah.
it felt good to be back,
Yeah.
and now that we know that y'all back tuned in with us, we're here to keep bringing
We're
it.
here to keep bringing that. All right, I feel good too. We got to watch the Super Bowl. Anybody but the Chiefs. Congratulations to the Eagles. Y'all did y'all big one. We needed that for sure because I was tired of seeing Patrick Mahomes. I mean,
Fuck the Chiefs.
fuck the Chiefs. All right, y'all. So this week we're diving into toxic relationships. So, what do you define as a toxic relationship?
I don't know if there's like a specific definition for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But if you had to like define it in your own words, like what would you say?
um, Probably a relationship that's unhealthy,
Mm-hmm.
um, which could be
A lot of different
a
things.
whole fucking all type of shit. But just like a relationship that you can't seem to get away from,
Mm-hmm.
that's not necessarily, I guess, in your best interest.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's tough. Like I said, I feel like it could be a whole bunch of different shit. So it's hard to just kind of like pinpoint it. But
I feel like a toxic relationship is like anything but peace. Like, not even just not peace, but it's just causing more stress than it is good. It's more bad than it is good. Like, the bad outweigh the good. Like, I feel like that's where you enter a toxic relationship. And that's what the definition is for me.
and I think that's where like the whole it could be a bunch of different shit. Cause like I feel like it's really like a perspective thing.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily all bad, but just not great for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's good in it, which is primarily
But the bad is just outweighing it.
probably yes. Probably yes.
So, like, what would you consider toxic? Like, some of the examples for toxic that I was seeing, like, gaslighting, um, guilt tripping, um, even just like abuse physically, mentally, emotionally, verbal abuse, like the way you talk to your person, like all types of stuff. I just feel like make it toxic.
I feel like all of those things can definitely fall under, like the umbrella. Like I said, there's so many different things that can make a relationship be toxic. But I don't know. I just kind of feel like you like emphasizing all the bad. Like
Yeah.
it's not necessarily just all bad. Like sometimes
So, what's good toxic?
I don't know if it's like a good thing. You know what I'm saying? But like you dealing with somebody that you enjoy dealing with sometimes, and you just know like this ain't right for you. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's just toxic in itself.
so what we talking about?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. You like, I don't think it's all bad, but nothing you just said was good either. So it's
But
like,
what I'm saying is like I feel like a lot of times people be in these predicaments and they there for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not necessarily because they just can't get away from the bad. It's something good keeping them there. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
Did that make sense?
I know I get what you're saying. We're gonna get into that.
All
Like
right.
you say. Have you ever been in a toxic relationship?
Um,
Am I toxic? Let me ask.
Not nearly.
I'm not
Get
toxic.
your ass
Okay.
on. I mean, y'all know I be saying I ain't been in a lot of relationships, period. But
Or not even a relationship. Maybe you was dealing with somebody, just a
like
toxic
a toxic
situation.
situation, yeah.
Yeah.
No, like I had a relationship that was not good. For
Story
me.
time. Tell us.
I ain't gonna get into too much detail, but I was with somebody that I tried to leave.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to leave, and like she just wouldn't let me
Was
leave.
trying to leave.
Like I really like tried to break up with her on numerous occasions. Like we done, don't call me.
Was you doubling back though?
That was the thing.
That's
Like,
the problem.
okay, so wait.
See?
Don't try to.
Toxic.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that. So like, she kept hitting me with she needed closure, and then like we would like meet up, talk. She get to crying. Next thing I know, we was having sex.
See?
And it was like,
That's toxic.
man. Like I tell motherfuckers, like, you really want to be done with a motherfucker, stop having sex with him.
Yeah.
Like, cause that shit gonna reel you right back in every time.
It is every time.
But I'm talking about like we probably broke up. Well, I probably broke up with her like 4 times, and like that motherfucker just wouldn't stop. Like, to no for an answer.
That's crazy. I don't know. I guess your story a little better than mine. My story ain't that great, but I mean, my toxic relationship dealing was more like stalker shit, mental shit. Like, I don't know. So like, I was dealing with somebody and we had gotten to a situation or whatever, and I can't remember the details, like what the case may be. I just remember I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to talk about it, whatever the situation was that was going on. And I was with him at his place, and he pretty much was like, well, you're not leaving until you talk to me type stuff. So basically trying to force me to communication. Maybe we could have communicated, but I just feel like sometimes when I'm like already mad, I need to just like take a step back first, regather my emotions, and then I could talk. Cause like, what's the point of talking if you all on 100? To me, it just don't make sense. So fast forward, he pretty much ain't want to let me leave. Damn near was like holding me hostage type shit. Like, you not leaving until you talk to me. And at first, like, I thought he was playing. Like, you know how people, like, you're not about to leave, whatever. But now he was dead serious. So it's like police got involved. Like, it was just a lot. And I damn near had to have like a non-contact. Like, it wasn't a restraining order, but it was like a non-contact like order in place or whatever. And I was in like college at this point. So he graduated before I got to the school that I was going to, and the school basically had to like put the little motion in place too. Like, I had told him, like, you know, this is what it is, whatever. And he couldn't like be on campus, no, none of that. Like, it was over. So like, that probably was the most toxic situation I was in. It didn't end bad, like how them stories be, like that shit could end bad. But it was just like, damn, like, people feelings really be like that deep into something that they start acting crazy. And
so let me ask you, like, when that incident happened, like, was that like your breaking point? Like, you was done after that, or like?
No, it wasn't. So we kind of still dealt after that.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like, something had to keep you dealing with him.
We're gonna get to that. Like, we was dealing. Sometimes I think it's like when you have one situation like that first, it'd be like, all right, maybe that's just like a one-time thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that wasn't it. The breaking point for me, this same person, after we was done talking, like, we broke up. I didn't want to have no parts no more, and I was already moving on. He had got word that somebody was like at my apartment, and he like came over there, was going crazy, banging on the windows and shit, and just like almost tried to come through my window type shit. And it was just like, yo, like, you dead ass, like this what we doing? And like, we like didn't have no contact, no nothing. I think actually that's when that thing got put into place.
I was about to say, that's what I was about to ask.
I think that's when
you had a non-contact in place, and you kept dealing. That's toxic.
No. Okay, so I think that's when it like pretty much got in place, because it makes sense. Because then I moved on campus, whatever, and then it was like, he can't come there, he can't come here. Those
people
things.
Don't be like a motherfucker might get a non-contact put in place after the first instant.
Yeah.
And then keep dealing with a motherfucker.
But again,
so like, who's the toxic person in this situation? Because you could have walked away from it and you chose not to. You decided to keep dealing.
You could have, but it's like, again, what I was saying was like, okay, maybe this is just some wild ass one time thing. Like,
but to go to the extent of getting a non-contact order of protection, is
I
like,
I was young, so I think that was more like my parents in my ear, like, yo, uh, before anything become anything more than that, like this is what you need to do type situation. I don't think it was really something that I was like, oh my God, let me go. You know what I'm saying? Like it was more. I think it was more so my parents' thing for like just for they ease in their mind, like you know what I'm saying. So but yeah, like I just feel like in a situation like that, most people be like, all right, we, that happened. Let's see. But it didn't, for those people that it happened repeatedly too, them toxic situations keep coming up repeatedly and they stay, that's something different. Now, I've never experienced that before.
so like um, I've never really like had any like domestic situations. So like,
I never did either. Nah, let's clear that up. Ain't nobody ever put their hands on me ever. Like, you gonna get dealt with for sure.
and that's
If
it's
it's
such a
not me, trust me, the family behind me, they come in 10 toes. But it's like, nah, I never had that before.
it's such a touchy subject. Because oftentimes you want to just think like, why can't the person just leave?
Right.
But sometimes like it be so bad that they be scared to leave.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I get the toxic part of it where, obviously it's not a healthy relationship if somebody's putting their hands on you. But like, does it make you toxic at all in this situation for not like trying hard enough to leave? Like, like, because I mean, maybe it's not an everyday thing. You know what I mean? And maybe there are some good times in between the
Right.
instances occurring. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So, do you contribute to the toxicity? Am I saying that right?
Toxicity.
Toxicity in the situation because you still, you know what I'm saying, like engaging.
I mean, I guess you can say that, but if you're talking about somebody who's a victim, then I think it's more so the scared part, not it being toxic at that
I feel
point.
that.
So, like, what would you say is some red flags that people avoid? And it's easy to talk about like the abuse part of it, but it go way like more surface than that. Like that's the deeper part of it being
Yeah.
toxic, but just surface level red flags. I feel like what do you feel like are some red flags
Um,
that you in a toxic relationship?
it's hard to say, cause like I haven't really experienced it much, so I can't really give like, personal.
Okay, so let me say this: like walking on eggshells, like having to like you don't want to say something because you don't want to start a fight. You don't want to do something because this might trigger that person. Like that's considered toxic. That's
Okay.
considered a red flag.
So like, would you say? Let me ask you this: would you say like if you was with somebody and you felt like you were compromising your happiness to try to make this person happy, do you consider that toxic?
Yes.
Okay. So I had a relationship where I felt like that's what I was doing. Like I was trying to do everything in my power to try to get this person to see like, I mean, I was down for them. Like this is where I was and this is all I wanted type shit.
Right.
It didn't work out. And I felt like like it was burning me out. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
just trying to prove over and over and over that this is where I was. So going forward, when I dealt with females, like any little thing that kind of reminded me of that relationship was like a red flag for me, and I wouldn't deal with that person. You know what I'm saying? Like the smallest
Got
little
PTSD.
shit. Like yo, I swear to God, like I would block a motherfucker so fast. Like you try to start to argue with me over some petty shit, blocked. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole controlling demeanor, like you know what I mean, like you belong to me or you got to do what I
Yeah.
say type
Yeah.
shit. Like especially when you not like y'all not in a committed relationship, I feel
Right.
like that shit is kind of OD. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there has to be some type of boundaries, right?
Right.
Just a respect thing. But if you think you about to start making rules for me, your ass is crazy, man. Like little
What's
shit
the
like
rules
that.
though? Like what's a rule that's like, oh nah. Because once you get in a relationship,
I
it's
used to
like
get-
natural rules. Like you know
No,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. But I used to get like real petty with the shit. Like a motherfucker like double text me because I didn't respond fast enough. Like, nah, you got me fucked up. Like,
No, because text back.
See, and that's the thing. Like naturally, I'm a fast responder. You know what I'm saying? Unless I'm actually doing something.
Yeah, but what else could you be doing that you're not texting me back?
That didn't matter. If I was doing anything, I
It do
couldn't respond
matter.
in
See,
that
that's the thing. It do matter because when we don't text them back, they be blowing phones up, trying to call, see what's going on. Then you try to hit you out. I was worried. I'm just trying to make sure. Nah, wait. I was busy. I was shooting dice
Yeah, okay.
with the girls.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to think or like the social media shit, like trying to run down about some shit you seen me post,
Okay.
or somebody said something on one of my posts, like little shit like that. Like it's one thing for us to like have some shit going on and like, and I feel like, you know, me personally, when I was in these stages in my life, I never like just blatantly disrespected women. You know what I'm saying? No matter who I dealt with, I'm not just going, unless I just really didn't give a fuck. And you know what I mean? If it got to that point, you pushed me to that point.
Right.
But like, I'm not just gonna parade around the other women that I was dealing with, like all in your face and shit. Like, it's nobody's business but whoever the person is that I'm dealing with. You know what I'm saying? So like don't run down on me about some shit you heard from another motherfucker. Like, that's the easiest way to get cut off. Cause like, what we doing?
Asking.
But why you asking?
But why not?
My thing is, and see, this is where a lot of people be fucking their situations up at, right? If I'm treating you good, why the fuck you gonna ask me about another motherfucker that you heard about? And that's what I'm saying.
That be the thing. It be the herd. Like, nobody wants to hear anything about. And I'm not saying you're supposed to believe everything you hear when you're dealing with somebody, because trust me, when you start dealing with somebody, all the shit start coming up. Like, oh, just coming out the woodwork. So I'm not saying believe everything, but I feel like that's walking on eggshells, because why can't, if I heard something, why can't I ask you?
Hell no, that's not walking on eggshells. But my thing be like, motherfuckers don't really even be ready for them responses that come with the questions that they answer.
That sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you ask me, I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, but you just said you wasn't gonna tell. You gonna cut them off.
Saying,
now I can't even say nothing. Now I gotta be scared to say something because I don't want to get cut off.
You should
not.
Because
I love you.
Because you not.
Yeah, I love you. You my everything.
Yeah.
And you gonna cut me off.
Like, how did we get here? This is not that.
Yeah, it is. But still, like, no. But I get what you're saying. They were saying, like, I was like looking up some stuff on Google, and they were just saying, like, if you gotta feel like you like anxious all the time, or like just anxiety in your relationship every day, like that's supposed to be like a red flag.
I mean,
for like a toxic relationship.
But like, you gotta be pretty deep in the relationship to be feeling like that.
I mean,
you know so like, that's kind of like past the red flag.
Maybe.
Like, when you say red flags, this is like early on signals of the shit. You know what I'm saying? So like,
what about like people who like try to like isolate their partners from like their family and friends, like making them feel like it's me, and make them feel bad when they want to go do something else.
That's the
like
shit I'm saying, like
people.
Control shit.
Yeah.
Like,
cause that's common. Like, I feel like I hear a lot of stories where it'd be like, oh, even I hear stories about men wanting to like separate, like keeping a person away from like their family and friends. But obviously women can do the same thing. That's just kind of crazy.
Because I definitely used to, I don't want you going out. Like, bruh, I've been going out for as long as you fucking knew me, way before you even knew me. Now all of a sudden I can't go out because we together.
I feel like that just stemmed from that person having some type of like trust issues, or
I feel like a lot of that shit come from like
past traumas. I think that's what contributes to just toxic relationships, period. And I don't even think sometimes people know that they're being toxic.
That's the thing.
Because
like,
it's just
like
something
a
they just
narcissistic behavior. And 9 times out of 10, a narcissistic person don't realize that they are what they are. Because it's been...
Or gaslighting people. They don't realize they doing that too. Like, I feel like I've done that a couple times. Where I might be like gaslighting, but I'm not doing it on purpose.
Like, you feel like you led somebody on?
No, not even just that.
When you say gaslighting, what exactly do you mean?
So gaslighting is like when you try to make somebody believe like their reality is wrong, or like what they, so okay, so for example, you could be like, somebody could be explaining something that happened and you be like, no, I don't think like that's not how it happened, I don't think you remember, like trying to make them sound like they crazy almost.
Okay.
That's like an example of gaslighting somebody.
So tell me, like, give me an example of how you could do it and don't, feel like you intentionally doing it.
Like,
Let me find out you just be blowing my head off over here.
no, I don't know. I can't think of a specific example.
I bet.
It'll come to me, and I'll bust out with it, and I'm just like, wait. This will happen. But no, I'm saying, like, I'm just saying that to say, like, I feel like people don't always understand their behaviors. Like, they just think it's normal. It's something that they've been doing, not realizing that it's toxic, either because somebody never said it was, or, like, try to correct the fact that they are, or, just bring it to the light. So it end up being a toxic situation that they in.
I feel like nobody ever want to hear, like be called out on the bad shit,
right?
The bad sides of them,
right?
So it's like, when you're dealing with somebody who can spot these things early on, and now they trying to tell you about yourself, you always come to the defense like, nah, that's not me. I'm not that type of person. Blah blah blah. But what would it take for a person to be able to see like this is really who you are?
Right.
That's kind of scary because it's like, obviously you're not going to agree to being this bad person, but how far deep into it do you have to get before you realize like, damn, I'm really am kind of fucked up?
Therapy. That's my answer for all that shit.
I mean,
therapy.
And you want to believe it's just that simple, but then now you got to actually convince a motherfucker to go to therapy. Like, a lot of people ain't with that shit.
They not, and that's gonna be another episode. We're gonna talk about that for sure. So why do you think people stay? We said we was gonna we touched on it a little bit earlier. Well, was about to touch on it earlier, but why do you think people stay?
Man. Okay, so like I'm gonna just get the whole fear part out the way first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, I've heard of situations like DV situations where, a person said that, the shit was so bad that they were afraid to tell somebody because if the person found out that they told on them, it probably would get worse for them. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
yeah.
So
fear like in an abuse type of way.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, DV aside, I think like, man, a lot of contributing factors, like, the potential that you might see in a motherfucker, just believing that they can be better or can be different at some point. A lot of motherfuckers think in their head that they can be the person to change somebody too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, maybe we'll get over this hump and then shit will get better.
Right.
Or even like sex, like I said, like you can't stop having sex with a motherfucker, you ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Because it's so much that come in the emotional, the physical, the mental part, you know what I'm saying, that comes with the sex, that shit can make a motherfucker stick around for a long ass time.
I think another thing that make people stay is the fear of being alone. Some people don't know how to be alone. They've always been relationship type people, just always like yearning for love. And once you feel like you found that, you damn near, some people be ready to accept anything just so
that's a fact.
They don't lose like that love, like that fake love that they think is love.
I immediately just had something pop in my head, like when you said that. And I'm so glad, my boy is so far past that situation. But like for so long, I'm like, damn, he can't leave this motherfucker alone.
Yeah.
Like, and the crazy part about it is like, what we see on the outside looking in be so far, you know, like not even scratching the surface of what they dealing with, you know, behind their closed doors. So like we really don't know the extent of why a motherfucker feel the way they do for this person, right?
Right.
And is I mean shit, on the outside looking in, it'd be tough, like especially for like a loved one. Like you feel like, damn, you going through so much trying to be with this motherfucker. They embarrassing you, they making you look bad, this and this and that, blah blah blah.
Right.
But you ready to go to war with the world
over. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like that should be, man. Like I read something. I think it was earlier today. That was like, I don't want to be crazy in love, but I want to be, like peaceful in love. Like just a bunch of like good shit in love. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that shit, like, it really kind of like, you know what I mean, struck a nerve because it's like, motherfuckers really be crashing out. You know what I'm saying? Because they be madly in love, like, people, and like, when you think about it, it's like, damn, like, you really was kind of crazy,
that
motherfucker.
Is crazy.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be a fear of a lot of things. So like fear of being alone, and then I also think like fear of starting over. People be getting comfortable. Like once you're in a relationship, so we all know relationships go through that honeymoon phase. So everything be good for a minute, you know, and then however long into it, true colors, you know, start to come out a little bit. You know, people get comfortable, and you get to start to see how people really is. And then you roll into, you know, the toxic stuff or whatever. And at that point, I just feel like people be like, why? Instead of starting over and possibly getting the same result, like I'm just gonna try to work through whatever we got going on, and that in itself become toxic too, because it's like why can't you just say no? I'm not going for that. Nobody ever want to stand on business when it comes to that.
Sometimes it's just not that simple, man. And I'm like, while it's still fresh on my head, I'm gonna just touch on something you said, the comfortability, man. Like when something is all you've known for so long, it'd be kind of hard to just be willing to like do something new. This is all I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it'd be bad.
It'd be bad.
But it'd be good too, though.
It'd be good.
You know, and that one thing about it, a motherfucker gonna stress the fuck out of that good. Like, they gonna try to make it sound so great that, like, it's like, all right, the bad is kind of acceptable. You know what I'm saying? Because this good is. They trying to make the good outweigh the bad, when in reality,
the bad outweigh the good. Yeah, being naive, trying to see the best in.
I mean,
the
but
situation
love can make you very.
Oh yeah, I feel like I've been naive before in the past, even in like current situations. But it just be like it's hard. I don't know. It's hard. I also feel like another reason why people stay is because when they are the toxic one, like I said before, they just don't know that they being toxic or don't want to accept it. Like somebody could bring it to the light, but then that defense would go up and you're like, no, I'm not. Like, you know, trying to deny it, not really accepting like what it is that you're doing and who you are as a person to that person in the relationship. So that's another big thing. I think people don't be personally reflecting, looking at themselves in the mirror and actually seeing like.
That shit takes some serious self-growth. Like, to realize that you're the problem, that's a lot of acceptance.
Me, I be like, I'm the problem, but I'm not the problem. But I am the problem, but I'm not.
You the problem.
I'm not the problem, but I am the problem, but I'm not the problem because I'm not the problem. But I do be the problem sometimes. But that's okay. But it's not okay. See what I'm saying? Like that's toxic. That's how people be thinking toxic shit. That's why, you know, I probably was toxic at some point. Do you think you ever been toxic before?
I think people might label me as toxic.
No. That's not that's not the question. Do you think you've ever been toxic before? Not what the people labeled you.